answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
We are back. I'm back. Doc Cheatham is back. Back in black. I got the outsiders on, Doc. Welcome, everyone, to another edition. I took some time off. I spent a little time in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. Need a little break from all the craziness. Doc, say hi to the people.
Good afternoon, everyone. God bless you all, and happy Women's History Month.
Oh, that's right. That's right. It's Women's History Month. We just had Black History Month. We have Women's History Month. And what's the month after Women's History Month? I don't even know. Everybody gets a shot. Everybody gets a month. So the ladies out there, and we're going to be talking about what's been going on with the black women, in particular in Baltimore City. The attack. It seems to be, you know, it's an all-out attack on black women and civil rights, and we have ourselves a situation here, Doc.
Yes, sir, without a doubt. And I'm begging. I don't like to use the word begging. I'm begging black men to come to your damn senses and come to the rescue of our women.
Yes, that is exactly what needs to happen. You have black men out there who are doing what they do. Yours truly included, Doc Cheatham as well, of course, and he's been on that front line for a long time. And of course we have, because we're going to get into the Ravens, the Orioles. We're going to touch on some sports here. Derrick Henry being signed by the Ravens. Oh, thank goodness. Woo! But what's going on with the attack on black women? And here's the thing, Doc, because we're going to get into this more. I'm just going to touch on it now. Here's the thing. You have these high-profile politician ladies who happen to be black, and they suck all the oxygen out of the room. And it's like, if it's not a high-profile politician who's a black woman, and if something happens to them, everybody comes, oh, everybody's on TV. They have to commentate. They have to pontificate on how it's terrible. She was called a mutt. This one was done that. She was taken to court. This, that, and the other. And the ladies who are out there on the front line, they pretty much get, you know, the back door. You don't hear anything about it. It's quiet. But if they're a politician and they said something and they call, everyone's in uproar. And what do you think about that, Doc? And we're going to talk more about that later. We're just touching on it now.
Well, we had to look at this as grown men had to look at it. That the responsibility of being a MAN is that you look after everybody that's in the family, the children, the grandparents, the wives. Our responsibility is to keep all of them. And all I'm saying, folks, I don't want this to appear to be a divide and conquer issue.
No.
But I'm a senior citizen who earned the title of an icon in the area of civil rights. And I'm telling folks, when it comes to civil rights issue, we don't pick and choose who we fight for. If the just issue is for us to fight, we fight. And I'm saying to you folks, you know, that's going out and you're meeting and eating for the last 4 or 5 months, well, God damn it, do something rather than just eating and meeting. Our women are at stake. Our women are being called out of their name. They're being said things to that you wouldn't repeat to anyone. And all I'm saying is, folks, you know, meeting and eating is fine, but you folks have been meeting for 4.5 years. Damn it, do something to protect our women. And I mean what I said. Protect our women.
And I've got your back, Doc. So anybody's got a problem with Doc Cheatham, let me make this perfectly clear. If you got a problem with Doc Cheatham and how he feels, then you got a problem with me. So anything you have to say about Doc, you're saying it about me. I agree. Meeting and eating and greeting and this, okay, fine and well. But let's do something. Let's do something and get active, because this nonsense needs to stop, and we're going to have Linda Batts on later, the president of Hammond Community Association as our guest. We're going to have Marsha Jews as well, WKIM News Network. And we're going to have Kelli Bigelow, activist, realtor, and these Renaissance women, because that's what I call them. They're Renaissance women.
I like that. It's a very admiring type of comment you made. I like that.
And I came up with that. You know, I'm often imitated, never duplicated. But they're going to be on later. And I want to quickly, before we get into the Ravens and Orioles and all that's been going on, I want to make an announcement. There's going to be, and this is very important, and I'm going to be actually interviewing her prior to the march. It'll be a special interview that's going to be done with Brittany Covington, and it's the Knowledge is Power March. Put it on your calendar. Knowledge is Power March, and that's March 18th, and that's March 18th to March the 24th. She's got a theme, the walls of Jericho. Remember they walked around the city for 7 days, the city of Jericho, Joshua and the Israelites, and on the seventh day the city's wall came crumbling down. When those walls come crumbling down, John Cougar Mellencamp, when walls come crumbling down, and there's this Knowledge is Power March, and I'm going to read quickly an excerpt from what she's put in her Quinn, C-W-E-N, Quinn House, Incorporated, Brittany Covington. The Baltimore Metropolitan Council serves as the overarching governing body for Baltimore City and its surrounding municipalities. That's the Baltimore Metropolitan Council. Collaborating with other regional councils, its primary objective is to ensure that federal funds derived from tax dollars are utilized for the collective welfare of the involved population. However, and this is the first paragraph of this, and it's a 21-page. However, a significant discrepancy arises as the council manages a substantial budget of $40 billion allocated for diverse projects spanning the next 25 years. Regrettably, the council's composition does not accurately represent the population it was established to serve. Wow, it looks like Brandon Slim Shady, oh my goodness, he's a member of this Baltimore Metropolitan Council. Wow, really? First of all, that in of itself makes me wary. No, that's just what I've got. That's my opinion. But the Knowledge is Power March, March the 18th. And let me quickly, I'm going to give the number for people. I'm going to do it again at the end of the show. If you want to get in touch with Brittany Covington, her number is 443-326-6046. That's 443-326-6046. She can tell you all about the event and give you anything we need or you need. But and I'll be there as well. But Doc, let's touch this news. When I heard the news, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is great news. The Ravens picked up Derrick Henry, Pro Bowl back, and he is a quintessential stud running back. What do you think of that pickup by the Ravens? Because I love it.
I could not have said it better. The only thing I can say now to the manager of the Ravens, the offensive coordinator, the defensive coordinator, we don't win the Super Bowl this year, I'm asking for all of your resignation.
Yeah, if you guys, if they can't get it done.
We can't find a better quarterback. We can't find a better running back. Now, we lost a couple of our defensive players. We lost a couple. A couple of them went to Pittsburgh, I'm saying to say. But there's no reason why our quarterback should be getting hurt. We got a thoroughbred running back that we have now. And there's no reason except for injuries. You got to be careful with the injuries.
Yes, sir.
Except for injuries, there's no excuse why we don't win two things this year. And guess what they are? World Series and Super Bowl.
The World Series, we're going to touch on the Orioles briefly as well, but we've got Derrick Henry, this guy, number 22, the Tennessee Titans. He was driving us nuts. NFL Offensive Player of the Year in 2020.
Yes, sir.
First team All-Pro 2020, four-time Pro Bowl, two-time NFL rushing yards leader, two-time rushing touchdown leader. This guy is a stud running back. He's with the Ravens, and I am happy. Woo, woo! Let's get that train rolling, baby. Let's get it rolling. And the Orioles, because I've got to talk. What the spring training is looking good. Their record, what are they, 16-4 or something like that. They're doing really, really well in the spring training. Jackson Holiday, Matt Holiday, former player of the majors, Matt Holiday, his kid, Jackson Holiday, 20 years old. Wow.
He's scary to be so young.
Wow. Is he good? and Doc and I played baseball, and so we know talent. He can hit, he can run, he can catch, he got good vision, fielding. So it looks like I think they're going to bring him up to start. I think he's going to be starting.
I think he will start possibly at second base. And I would like to say this. I know this sounds like a commercial, but the oldest continuous predominantly African American Little League Baseball league in America. They've been in since 1959. We'll have free registration this year for boys and girls that want to play Little League Baseball, and we will have an opening parade this year. So look out for James Moser Associate Baseball Team, because we are back.
Look out. Okay, that's great news, Doc. And for you kids out there and parents out there, your grandparents who want to get your kids in something positive, and baseball, Little League Baseball, is a way to go. And what I'm going to do is, we got the 4 Bs we're going to be dealing with today. We've got clips. We got the Biden, Barkley, Bigelow, that's Kelli Bigelow, and Brandon, Slim Shady. Those are the 4 Bs, the killer bees. I'm going to start. I'm going to start with Charles Barkley. You've got to hear this, everyone. Listen to Charles Barkley and what he thinks of, I guess, anyone who's supporting Donald Trump for president. And I guess he's got an issue with that. But others have something to say, so here we go.
And you know who embraced it more than anybody else? The black population. It's incredible. You see black people walking around with my mugshot. You know, they do shirts.
When you heard that, what did you think? Big sigh.
First of all, I'm just going to say this. If I see a black person walking around with Trump mugshot, I'm going to punch him in the face.
Charles.
I know, Gail.
You really can't say that, because A, you don't mean that.
I mean that sincerely. I'm going to just tell you something.
And then you will be arrested for assault. And then what?
I'm going to bail myself out and go celebrate. If I
Don't encourage him. Don't encourage him. Okay, but go ahead.
Seriously.
Continue.
Against all these years, to put them in the same category, I was just offended. I mean,
when did Charles Barkley become the overseer on the Democratic plantation? How does he feel comfortable threatening millions of free-thinking Americans? Who the hell does Charles Barkley think he is? Well, it seems as though he's been tasked by his puppet masters to get out there and do the shuck and jive and get the other mind slaves back in line. After all, he knows where his bread is buttered. Charles makes his millions commentating on NBA games for TNT. And here he is on a sister network telling other black people what they need to do. You need to get back in line or I'm going to whoop you, or rather punch you in the face. Why did this happen? Well, I'm going to tell you why. Because November is coming up fast and the puppet masters need to stop the bleeding. So they send out Chuckles to get out there and do the shuck and jive and try to get people back onto the plantation. Don't believe me? Well, I got something to show you that can prove what I'm saying. What I'm going to show you is a snapshot of the black vote trend line. And FYI, just to let you know, it was published by the same network that he appeared on, CNN. So what you're seeing right now is a poll by CNN, and I've highlighted in red the most appropriate part of this for you to focus on, the black vote. In 2020, the exit polls in which Biden won the election, he had a 75% lead over Donald Trump. The New York Times poll from yesterday, or rather 2 days ago, shows that lead at only 43%. He has lost 32% of the black vote just in the last 4 years. 32% of black people have removed the shackles and have run from the plantation. So of course, they need to do whatever they can, even if it means advocating violence, to get people black people back in line. Right there. Got another one for you. This guy's a big dude. Anyone seen Charles Barkley? I heard he was looking for me. I grew up in the you hit me, I'm gonna hit your back era. And this big hulking black man has got the mugshot t-shirt on. Sorry, Chuck. You want to take us on? You get in line because there's a whole bunch of us.
Yep.
And then here's another one. Somebody I'm pretty sure Charles Barkley won't want to take on. Charles Barkley said he'll punch black Trump supporters. Good luck. Why? Because one of the guys sitting right there is Mike Tyson. So it's up. The gig is up.
Yep.
That's it. We're no longer on that plantation, and many of us aren't going back. Doesn't necessarily mean that one candidate or another is getting our vote, but you can't assume it anymore.
Don't assume
We're
it.
not just going to be lockstep in doing whatever you tell us. Those days are long gone. So I got another one for you.
Let me give you a brief history lesson. An overseer was a black guy. His job was to keep other black slaves in check.
Sound familiar, Chuckles?
The overseer was fed well, he had free range, he was paid well, had the best women, and his job was to keep other black slaves in check by whipping them, even killing them in front of everybody.
Yep.
That's what an overseer was, and we have overseers today. Charles Barkley was on CNN, he was paid well, and he made a threat to any black guy that would wear a mega hat, he would punch them. Charles Barkley is today's overseer.
That's what Charles Barkley said. Charles Barkley, my opinion, you got a guy who played in the NBA, and he likes to run his mouth, and he likes to threaten people. He's a bully, overseer, bully, whatever. He's got his suit on and his tie and his three-piece suit, and he's popping off at the mouth. Now, you got guys out there, they'll clean Charles Barkley's clock. Clean his clock. And he's running his mouth that he's going to hit people. He's going to commit assault and battery on another human being, a black person, because they have on a shirt or a hat or whatever that he doesn't like. I mean, this is a podcast, and I can say whatever I want. This is not, a radio station with call letters, and you can't say this, you can't say that. I can really rip and tear right now and call Charles Barkley everything but a child of God. I'm not going to do it, but I could. Jag off. So he's been backing it up now. He's been backing off of, I should say, backing off of what he's been saying. Doc, what do you think about that? The physical threat by Charles Barkley on people.
I think Barkley, has got, accustomed to saying and doing what he thinks is possible. But oftentimes I really think he needs someone a little bit closer to him to let him know, that there are times when he just say things that just don't make common sense. I don't want to say anything negative about him or what he's attempting to do, but sometimes he runs off at the mouth, and I really don't think somebody is advising him to let him know, Charles, you need to think twice about some of these things that you're saying. It's like he's got a free will to say what he wants, but he has no idea what it means at the end of the day.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know you're being nice, Doc, but I'm gonna call it like it is. He looks like a friggin' idiot running his mouth in a studio. And there are dudes out here, just because, hey people, let me inform you all of something. Just because you think, because you're big, that you're bad, that the two don't go hand in hand, I found most of the time. And for somebody in the studio to run off, he's gonna commit assault and battery against, look, Charles is an idiot. He's a big stupid idiot. He fancies himself as an overseer of bully because these brothers have got off the daggone plantation, Democratic plantation, and a lot of people, look at the numbers, 75% lead in 2020 with black folk vote. Now the black folk vote, but try saying that real fast 6 times. 43% now, that's a 32% reduction. That's huge, huge. And let me get into why, because Biden's now, he's trying to get the black vote back. And I got to play this for you because you got to hear the tactic that the Biden campaign's coming up with one of the tactics they've used to get the black vote back. Here we go.
Definitely. This can't be real. I know it ain't real. It can't be real. Now, the thing is that Biden can actually say this, and people still vote for him. He went on Charlemagne show, Charlemagne the Fraud show. I'll make sure I put his name on there correct. Charlemagne the Fraud. He went on his show and said, if you don't know if you vote for Bill Trump, you ain't black.
And you gotta come see us when you come to New York, VP Biden.
I will.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions. I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
I want y'all to imagine that this is real. Matter of fact, don't even imagine it's real. I'm translating his interaction with black people eating chicken. I'm gonna translate it for you. Now, the news made it sound like, or whatever the little clip made it sound like he was talking to them about all this. This is what he really was saying in his mind.
So I made sure you guys got your chicken, your orange soda, or Kool-Aid, if that's what you're into. I'm really sorry that Jill forgot the watermelon and hot sauce. Listen, I absolutely love the blacks, especially when you people vote for me and not Trump. So
now, obviously, there's deep fake in this AI. But let me play you the real clip so that you two don't think I'm trying to put a farce on there.
So tell me what you guys, what you do these days?
Don't you share about your passing sports?
I'm playing AAU basketball right now.
Very well, you go to your guard?
Yes, sir.
Now, what grade are you in?
7th grade.
7th grade.
Right now I'm just doing basketball, playing on the JV team for high school.
What about the school? How y'all doing in school? You should tell the president about the school.
Everything about it is the business academy I'm in. You need to like travel, so we've been in like NC State, Lake Tech, and yeah, we went to this small job.
Are you kidding me? Black people are educated? That's what he's saying. You raided around. The funny thing is, why you going to black people's house like this? You ain't done nothing for black people. You don't have no plans in place to do anything for black people and productive, except 94 crime bill putting black people in prison, which Joe Biden bragged about, or him doing the eulogy of a former Klans member, Robert Byrd. Well, do I need to keep going? If you don't want to vote for me, you ain't black. White kids are just as, what did he say? Black kids are just as good as white kids. Or he said poor kids are just as good as white kids or something like that. Just putting his foot in his mouth every chance he get.
If you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
Yeah, well, see, Biden went to a home, and I guess he's trying to endear himself with black folk, and brought the kids, I mean, the black family, and it was a father, and he's a single father, raising two intelligent, really bright kids. And he brought them, the kids, some fried chicken. He brought them some fried chicken boxes. Not making this up. I'm not making this up. Okay. And he had a hamburger. Joe had a hamburger. And they, of course, the kids play basketball, so they made sure to find a family where the young men play basketball, and he brought them chicken. Okay? Now, Doc, what did... He brought some chicken box.
You want me to say something about all these black folk are chicken eaters? 85% of black folk eat chicken, so I want to know that. I'm not somebody you to ask that question to.
He brought him some fried chicken, okay? And
hope you bought them Popeyes.
So that's how you're gonna win over the back. I should say win back, because you lost 32% of your lead with black vote. Went from 75% down to 43. So I guess the way to get that 32% back, I guess he'll give all the black families in America, all the black families in America, you get free chicken box. Free chicken boxes. Free chicken boxes, all, okay? That's how you're gonna do it. Okay, let's move on, because I got a call.
Yeah, let's talk about something else.
Let's move on. And I'm going to call them now. We're going to call, that's how I'm going to do this. Linda and Kelly. So, let's see. Hold on. Let me make this work. Hold on just a second. Folk, where we go? And this is going to be something else because they're going to tell everyone what happened. I was there as well. March the 7th, this past Thursday, it was pandemonium when Kelli Bigelow was attacked on the City Hall chamber floor. And we're going to go over what happened. Okay, giving Linda Batts a call now. Linda and Kelli and Marcia are waiting, so I want to get them online so we can discuss what happened at City Hall this past Thursday. Fox News was covering it as well. And, okay, we got Linda on.
Sorry, I lost you for about a minute.
No, that's okay. I was bringing Linda on. Linda, you there?
Oh, okay. Hey, how are you all?
Good, good. Hold on.
Good. How you doing? I'm driving as we speak, but I'm gonna be okay.
Hold on just a second. Let me get Kelli Bigelow as well.
Okay.
So let me get Kelli, because Kelli Bigelow, she's the one who was attacked on the floor of City Hall, and
you talking about the attack this week, right?
yeah, this past Thursday.
It's happening every week now.
It seems like to be weekly. Okay, let me call her now. This is something else. We're having a conference call on the podcast, The Outsiders, and do I have Kelli there? Okay, hold on. Let's see. Here we go. Okay, Kelli, you there?
I'm here.
Okay, I got Linda and Doc on.
Hey, Linda and Doc. How are you?
Hey. Let me stop. Okay, y'all. Hold on just a second.
We're praying for you, my girls. My ladies, we're praying for y'all.
Hold on, I'm gonna bring on Marcia, and then we can get rolling. Let me pull up Marcia, and we're gonna talk about what happened with Kelli this past Thursday, and we're gonna go over what's going on with this Jed Weeks character, who's the interim director of Baltimore. I guess that's the way they do things. Okay, let me go ahead and call Marcia. Reaching out to Marcia. Jews as well. This is going to be something. See, this is, people, you're going to find out what really happened. What really happened on March the 7th at City Hall. In depth. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Okay,
I'll be right back when I get home.
Okay, Marcia, call me back. Okay, Marcia.
Which side of that?
Okay, let's go. Now, Kelli, let's start with you, because you were talking. As a matter of fact, this is what I'm going to do. This is going to set the mood. Okay, everyone. Just a couple of minutes. Just listen and to what you all had to say, and then Kelli, we're going to start with you. So let me go ahead and cue this up and play it.
And the obligation to make sure our tax dollars are spent appropriately and used justifiably, and that the data supports it. We keep hearing blacks don't own cars. Well, how many blacks want cars and don't have them? And if blacks want to own cars and can't afford them, then we're dealing with economic remedies to past discrimination that has entrenched poverty and low-level wages and marginalization and disparate pay in the black community.
History repeats that on the bank of the James River in the colony of Virginia in 1712, Willie Lynch, British slave owner from the West Indies, taught slave owners how to control the slaves. Among his many principles, he taught slave owners to keep slaves ignorant, for knowledge is power and power is dangerous. Encourages divisions among the black community to weaken their collective strength, pit the older slaves against the younger slaves so they are too distracted to unite and rebel. Deny the slaves access to quality health care, resulting in physical and mental deterioration. Create a system of surveillance and punishment to eliminate any attempts at resistance. Plant seeds of distrust and envy within the black community to ensure they never form strong bonds. Well, those bonds are strong right now. Well, thank you. I appreciate you all, but I am going to say, as part of the supermajority voting bloc, a special interest group, which are black women that are 53% majority in Baltimore, and a homeowner and a business owner,
Your job, city council, and those that want to be mayor, have to land. You all have to stick this landing like Simone Biles. You gotta stick it. You gotta stick this landing. Because if you don't, you're putting Baltimoreans against Baltimoreans, and that's not okay. And the interim CEO should be fired. He should not have a seat anywhere in Baltimore. He's gonna run his life at risk. He needs to go. And if he's contributed to anybody's campaign, that's public knowledge. We know how to find data, DOT. I'd like to see the data points that are assigned to the data that you're showing, like those red dots. What are you citing? What measurements? Bikes cannot be accurately measured. They're not licensed. And if you're going to cause all this upheaval for them, you can pay taxes.
Yeah.
Your jobs are dependent on you sticking this landing for all of us. Okay. I was just called out my name. I was just called. I'm telling you, I was just called out my name. So I need to be safe leaving out of here.
Okay, thanks. All right, thank you very much. Next up, Sonia Eating.
Kelli, let me ask you a question. Did you feel safe? Did Yitzi Schleifer make you feel safe? Because he seemed like he was just shooing you away.
I didn't feel safe at all. I felt dismissed. I felt that their shock was like they were more comfortable being shocked than making sure I was okay.
Because it sounds to me, the way Yitzi was slamming the gavel down on you when you were just attacked, and he's slamming the gavel down as if to shoo you away, ma'am, trying to interrupt you. Like, I mean, like he didn't really give a rat's about what happened. And, well, let's just continue. And Crystal Parker said something that made a lot of sense on Jason Rodriguez in the interview we just had this past Tuesday, I believe, and she made a lot of sense. She said they should have locked that place down because they said he had a weapon. So, what do you think of that, Kelli? Then I'm going to get to Linda.
Black women are the most disrespected, unprotected class of demographics that are out there, and I'm well aware and very assured in knowing that when black women are put to task, the task gets done, as well as all boats rise on our tides when that sail. This city council is across the board, top down, the only city council person that I have a modicum of real respect for is Felicia Porter. Other than that, they all need to go. They are gatekeepers. They do. It was performative. What do they actually do other than waste our money? Or that's really the mayor's side of it. But legislatively, they have done a disservice to us as citizens. There's no constituency services focal point for the city. And if things are as bad as national news portrays it, as bad as we feel it is, and I don't mean feelings emotionally, I mean what you step out your house and looking at blight, but you want to know why kids are acting up. You are what you see, you are your environment, you know? Mm-hmm. And the amount of waste that this legislature and mayor's office has allowed, with all the money that has come into Baltimore and has been misappropriated, misused, and wasted. I mean, how do you lose a $10 million housing grant because you didn't get the paperwork filled out?
There should be investigations into that. And Linda, I want to talk to you about what happened, what you witnessed. I'm going to go over what I witnessed because I witnessed a whole lot.
Yeah.
But, so Linda, I want to ask Linda, Kelli.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I was just checking up going on.
That's all right. So Linda, what did you see when Kelli finished? And what did you see happen right after she finished?
Well, right after she finished, she proceeded away from the podium, and Mr. Leal rose up. He was basically extremely agitated, and he called her what I think I heard was a black VIP, and put his FU finger up and proceeded to pull something out of his pocket or backpack or wherever and flashed it. And so in that moment of very apparent anger that he displayed, it was clear to me that if he was going in his pocket or backpack to pull out something and flash it, it wasn't to denote love. It was to further instill fear and the potential for a threat. And at that particular point, I jumped up in my own sense of infirmity and in my own sense of fear, wondering what was going to happen, and proceeded out of the chamber into the hallway, where it seemed to me that in the midst of all of this anarchy, the perpetrator was being protected and escorted out of the building to safety, and Kelli was left vulnerable, exposed, and unattended to, except for the love of the circle of people who share her best interests.
Well, this is what happened.
There was no hitting of the gavel and let's pause for a moment.
No, there wasn't. No, there was not.
There was no call. I don't know, but I'm going to speculate there was no call from the chamber for an extra heightened level of security and shutdown on the building.
There wasn't from the chamber, but this is what happened. This is what I saw, because I got a little bit more. I was sitting next to Marcia. Marcia was sitting, of course, next to Linda, so I was kind of in the middle. And Will Hanna was sitting next to me. I saw this young man lunge out, and he did it so fast, I'm going, okay, what's going on? And then he screamed out the expletives as well, put his middle finger out. I saw him reach for something. I didn't know what was going on because it happened so fast. And Desmond Stinney had a really good view because of where he was sitting in the press area. And he could see, he said, he pulled out a laser. It was a laser. So then I go into the hallway area, and Desmond and I are screaming at security, get him. Get him. He just attacked. It was just an attack. Get him. So the security lady, I mean, God bless her. I mean, you know, she was moving so slow. And I'm saying to myself, this is the security? I'm sorry. This is security? So she was walking really slow, and I'm going, you know, and Desmond and I are saying, get him. So he runs to the elevator. Let me put his picture up now. You all will be able to see this. There he is, Isaac Leal. Fox News has him up. Here is Isaac Leal. This is a young man. And, of course, Kelli Bigelow. Everybody, I'm going to let everybody see. And you can go to Charm TV, March the 7th, City Council hearing. Okay. And he's at the elevator. Now, it's going to take me a few minutes to explain because people have to get the gravity of this situation and how serious this is. He's at the elevator. Thank God the elevator door did not open. So the elevator door did not open. Another security personnel gentleman came, and Isaac Leal was at the elevator, okay? He was standing there at the elevator and he was detained. He was detained. You don't have to shackle someone. I looked it up, the legal definition. As long as they're in a place where they can't move or get away, or they can be shackled or not shackled, or even in a room, that's detained by security, okay? So while he's being detained, here comes this young man, Tyler Schnella, and you can see him. There's Tyler. He looked like he just got out of high school. And this young man comes, and he takes Isaac Leal, who's being detained. Security has him. They had called down for the police to come up from the first floor to the fourth floor to get Isaac Leal to search him, question him, so on. And Tyler Schnella, whatever his name is, the mayor's office, whisks him away, takes him away. And so there goes good old Isaac, and he takes him to an elevator on the other side of the hall, and here you go, City Hall. City Hall, got the picture of City Hall. The police are right there on that first floor as you go through the door, and he escapes to the side, a side door. The reason why I know this is because I was the first person to come out of the door of City Hall after we went down the elevator. Myself and Tyrone Boast went down the elevator, and I go outside, and this kid he's like a block away. That's impossible for him to have been taken to the police to be searched in, what, 20 seconds? Because that was the difference in time, maybe 15, 20 seconds. So he wasn't searched by the police, and they let him go, and the police were behind us. Tyrone Boast went and got the police. I kept an eye on Isaac Leal as he was going away and leaving, so that the police would know his location so they could apprehend them. You know that they stopped, I'd say about a half a block, they stopped pursuing, and Tyrone told me, Sean, they stopped pursuing. So Tyrone and myself, we stopped pursuing, and this is what happened. See, when we got back to tell the officers what happened and to ask what was going on, see, the officers, the police, they detained unlawfully Tyrone Boast and myself between the City Hall doors where you enter. They detained us. And then this young man, let me grab him again, he comes back out. Tyler Schnella comes back out, gives me some phony name, because I asked him, who are you? I told him I was media. I told him my name. And he comes back out. He's on the phone with Brandon, we believe. And I believe the mayor had Tyrone Boast and myself, had the police detain us unlawfully. And there is an investigation. After I get through, there are going to be multiple investigations in this situation of what happened. Kelli, with all that said, because you did call the police and you filed a police report, how do you feel about the mayor and what his aide, Tyler Schnella, did in whisking away Isaac Leal?
Well, the fact that we actually have an actual name, because I received a different name, you received a different name. He told me his name was Pete Taylor. I think that the mayor, once again, himself shows us why he doesn't deserve to lead the city. I think that young man should be fired. I think he does a disservice to a public environment, because your constituent safety should always be of first importance. I think that Brandon is in damage control mode, and no one matters but his how he looks to the public. I think that he is so deep in with Baltimore that he can't allow them to be besmirched. He acts as if, he was elected by them. That mayor is detractor to what the city really needs. He is a detriment, and I am so disappointed in what he turned out to be. And you know how the old folks say, you ain't got to do nothing, God will get them. And so will those audits. God and audits is going to come for Brandon.
Yeah, there has to be an audit. Yeah, I agree. There should be an audit. They've been calling for an audit, and the money's $641 million, and he spent maybe, what, $183 million of it, and I believe all of it has to be spent by 2026 or something. I'm trying to remember the figures. But
he had nothing to show for it.
You got,
money.
Well, where is it going? Safe streets? Complete streets? Is it going to complete streets? I mean, where's the money? Where is this guy, this young man who's in office? And I've heard all kinds of stuff about certain things that are going on financially. I'll just leave it at that until I get more.
We don't see progress. We don't see transportation blooming. We don't see the blight corrected. We had a $500 million with a B dollar purse. And as I continue to say, Baltimore as a city, a municipality, is not broke, but the people are. Your average citizen can't afford to buy a home.
Linda, what do you think of this? I want to get Linda in on this, and then I want to get Doc in. Linda, what do you think of the situation with the mayor? I'm going to focus on him because if this kid, and like I said, he looked like he just got out of high school, Tyler Schnella, if this kid doesn't come out of nowhere, he threatened me, he threatened Tyrone Boast, he threatened Desmond, okay, this kid, he's threatening us, well, I'm going to have you thrown out if you come any nearer. I'm like, what? Excuse me? And then he ran off with the guy and stuck him in the elevator and got him out of the building after threatening us, and then after having the police, and the police never should have done it. You don't unlawfully detain people, okay, first of all. And then they kicked us out of the building, I forgot about that, and did a perp walk with Tyrone and Boast and myself, embarrassing us, walking us through the chambers, and then kicked us out of the building on top of all of that. Linda, with all of this said, with the mayor and his performance, his staff performance, how do you feel? What do you think of all of this?
Well, very clearly, you cannot run a city based on relationship. You have to run a city based on responsibility and what is right and wrong. And clearly, there have been many opportunities just in the illustrations that we've talked about with social justice and civil rights issues inside of City Hall with respect to Baltimore's leveraging its status with individuals. And it's not just me. There are other women who have stated that they've been subject to the same kinds of threats. We saw it with Kelli. We saw the impact of it with Mayor Hughes. Mm-hmm. And it's the relationships that are tainted. And so now, as we're coming closer and closer to having the opportunity to make wise choices about who will lead the city again, some of the things that we are seeing will further, I think, lock us in to smarter choices going forward in terms of the leadership. Because I've never, from the household to the boardrooms over in Washington, D.C., where I worked for 31 years with some of the best and the brightest leaders in America, mm-hmm. I have never witnessed the kind of atrocity and the kind of disrespect that I have seen in my beloved city of Baltimore. And to allow anyone to disrespect a woman who is advocating for what she believes is the right to progress in her community, the right to voice her opinion about changing the trajectory of wrong to right, and not support that, it's just unacceptable. Yes. And, a leader would step in and intervene and say, listen, we don't call our women mutts. We don't
He's supposed to do that.
We can disagree civilly, but there's a sense of order and respect that we're going to have on my watch. And so folks have to examine what has happened in the past 4 years on that watch. Is that watch a Rolex, or is it a Timex with a battery that is burned out?
That's a beat up Casio. And Doc, what? Because I have to, Doc, with what you're hearing from Kelli and Linda, and what I've said in regards to what happened on the 7th, Thursday, March the 7th, at City Hall, and on the chamber, and at City Hall, and the police involvement, and the mayor's aide, what do you think of all this?
First of all, you have real men apologize to Kelli, apologize to Mayor Schnella, to Linda. First, my apologies as a real black man. Let me first say that. My apologies that is happening to you. And I'm hoping my cry out to black men in general to stand up and act like real men. But I look at this much different from, I would say, most of us. You know, I was not in the military. I don't look at things militarily. You know, I was someone who was basically against the military. I don't look at it as being detained. I look at it as the white boy was protected. There's a difference in being detained and being protected. He escaped. He escaped. That's what he did. He escaped. He was not searched. So, you know, why was he apprehended and he wasn't searched? So I don't look at military terms. I look at war terms. This was an attack on a black woman, on 3 black women in just 1 month. And I'm saying, black men, even you stand up, oh, get the hell out the way.
Well, I agree with you, Doc. The black men need to stand up. They need to become active. I could have sat there, and I'm not saying this to toot my own horn, but I could have just sat back and sat in the chamber and said, oh, wow, that is terrible, and just sat there and not done anything. Desmond Stinney could have just sat there and said, oh, gee whiz, you know, that's it. And Tyrone Bose could have just sat there, and we as 3 black men, we could have just sat there and done nothing, but we actually became active, got involved within the rule of law, and of course we were punished for it, and I will be dealing with that the way only I can deal with things. Okay, that's another story. So Tyrone, Brandon, so you hear me, Brandon? You're going to be dealing with me straight away. Okay, kid? But that's another story. It's the ladies are the focal point. The men are supposed to do what Tyrone and Desmond and myself did. That's what we're supposed to, red-blooded, you know, American black men. That's what we're supposed to do. Not just sit back and do nothing. And the mayor and Brandon Scott, okay, what has he, let me ask you something, Kelli. Has the mayor or anyone on the city council, and it doesn't matter who they are, have they called you and apologized? No. So
Change in the council chambers with your council person.
I was just about to say that. Neither did my councilman, James Torrance of the 7th District. I was standing there. Linda was on the side. One of the Baltimore people, I'm not going to say Baltimore people, one of the bike supporters, nice man, actually checked on me. His name was Dan, and Mackenzie Frost was standing to my right. Councilman Torrance walked by, and I said, Councilman, are you even going to ask me if I'm okay? And he folded his arms and tightened up his posture. That is between you and that man. I have nothing to do with it.
What?
Mackenzie's Frost's face.
Wow. He's a disgrace.
One, she couldn't believe he said it. 2, we couldn't believe he was that stupid to say that in front of the press.
Well, obviously he is that stupid. Pigpen is that stupid.
And he is also complicit in this behavior because he told our matriarch, the illustrious Miss Mary Hughes, that he was tired of dealing with her and was going to take the gloves off.
And he said that to Mary Hughes?
Yes, he did.
He said that he was going to...
And she reached out about it. She reached out
What?
She reached out to Nick Mosby about it and didn't get... We didn't see a response. I don't know if Mrs. Hughes has gotten a response.
Wow.
But it is a pattern. You have Jed Weeks, who tried to bully me online. I'm the last person you're going to bully. You have Jed Weeks, the interim CEO of Baltimore, doxing... an environmental equality juggernaut, Miss Linda Batts, who's on here today, and endangering her by putting her, her house and her vehicles online for people to view and hatred. And it's akin to what happened to the poll workers in Atlanta. And then where somebody felt they set the precedence that they think that they're minions, they're fanatics, because to me they're not even Baltimore supporters anymore. People who act out like this are fanatics, and they are emboldened because nothing was done to Jed Weeks. He didn't lose a seat at the table. Nope. Brad Scott didn't admonish him.
You're right.
Even our candidates who are running didn't admonish him. You want the job, then stand up. You can't be scared of Baltimore. Bob Wallace, Sheila Dixon, Thurun Vignaraja, and the others. You can't be scared of a lobby and then want this job. It's a full contact sport.
Let me ask you something, Kelly. Let me ask you something again. Now, because I want to know, after what had happened, the event, with the people who are running for mayor and all the candidates who are running for mayor, out of all the candidates who are running, and I'm including Sheila Dixon, and I'm just gonna take a sidebar real quick, and I'm gonna get back to that. Doc, what's Sheila Dixon's record on civil rights for protecting black women?
Well, all I know was she was in office when her boss, Martin O'Malley, arrested over 200,000 black men, and I was forced as head of the NAACP to file a lawsuit against her,
okay,
the president of the council,
wow,
the president of the all of those organizations. We sued everybody, and we won.
Okay, so
Sheila never came up to protect the citizens.
Okay, so her civil rights cred sucks. Okay, so I just wanted to straighten that out. And as far as Thuru and Bob, did Thuru or Bob or any of the other candidates, did they call you or email you to say they're supporting you?
Sheila has my email. I have not heard from her. Mr. Bob Wallace doesn't know me, but I do know that they are all aware of what happened. I have not heard from Bob Wallace.
Well, they need to get on a good foot.
I did hear from Thuru.
Okay. Okay.
I did hear from him. Brandon Scott, I have not heard from. Not one person on the city council, including my council person, James Torres, had reached out to me. I haven't gotten a text, a call, an email, pigeon carrier, sign language, nothing.
Nothing. That's a disgrace. Disgrazie. These people, I've been saying it since I've had this podcast, and I went on WMEG online radio, not last year, but the year before. I've been saying it, and I keep saying it, and they just prove me right over and over and over again. The city council, the mayor's a bottom feeder. Okay, Brandon is dumber than a box of chip bricks, and I know he's getting people who's feeding him information on how to do things. I'll leave it at that, because he's an idiot. Now, you got this idiot who's a mayor, who doesn't care about civil rights, who didn't even call you to say, hey, I'm sorry what happened to you. As a matter of fact, did quite the opposite, made sure that I was detained, and I believe that fully. Tyrone Bose was detained, and your assailant was whisked out, and Doc was correct, that he was actually protected from doing what he was doing, and thus emboldening what is going on with these pro-bike people. Just put bike lanes everywhere. 77 miles, we gotta have it. Run the bike lanes to your living room. Doesn't make any difference. Just this is the craziness that's going on in Baltimore City. And Doc, I want you to let the people know, Doc, as a civil rights icon, and you are, as a civil rights icon, how bad is it with the leadership, the mayor first, and the leadership in Baltimore City regarding civil rights in Baltimore City?
Well, let's first start to say everyone with my skin ain't my kin. And I'll talk about the majority of the African American looking elected officials that we have in Baltimore City. Majority of them I do not consider my kin. But we also need to say this, you know, we need to drop the buckets where they are and ask the people the hard questions. We've had 4 women in 1 month's time to be verbally attacked and materially attacked. And I'm going to ask the question publicly, since I had one person question me as to where I was on Thursday. Well, I was in the hospital having an operation.
You were having surgery, yes.
In case you wanted to know, punk. That's how I'm going to call you, a punk. Is that what you're going to ask? Where was Doc Cheetah? That very seldom that I'm not in the middle at every fight in Baltimore City. What I'm saying is, you black men, where are y'all? 4 women have been attacked. Where are you?
I guess they're eating, you know, breakfast food or,
no, they're eating and meeting.
Eating and meeting. Talking about things. You got to actually get out there and do things. But they picked one person in order to surround and then protect. We got to protect this one person. I'm not even going to say her name. I know her. I'm not going to say her name. But they take the one person, and now it's the mutt thing that was said by the fire department. And I'm going to segue into this because we're gonna be taking a look at things that are going on. And ladies, I want you to hear this because this is important. There was a young lady, and it's no age range. It's not like they're specifically attacking, and you're talking harassing, attacking. Now we got sexual harassment, which I think is rampant in Baltimore City. So sexual harassment is rampant, and the lawsuits should start piling up. But you got some judges doing some things to block things, and that's another story. I know about you judges. I know what you're doing to block things for the lawsuits, but that's another story. But I want you to listen to this. Now, this is a young lady, okay? And this is what she's having to deal with. Let me make sure I get the right one. Okay, here we go. Cue it up.
I don't know any of the details, but this is the Morgan State student with a very disturbing claim. We don't have to watch the whole almost 6 minutes of it, but I think she lays out the concerns pretty quickly here at the beginning, and they dovetail exactly with what you're saying. Is a concern when these folks with costumes and guns get put in places.
Do not go to Morgan State. I'm a senior here. I study political science. This school is trash. I attend class in this building right here, the Martin D. Jenkins Hall at Morgan State.
So by the way, that's the building I teach in. So it's the new Jenkins building for behavioral and social sciences. So just
was the 3rd time that I've had sexual advances made towards me by the security at this school. And when you report it, the people in charge laugh at you and insinuate that it's not true. Or it didn't happen because they know their staff. I'm coming in to take my midterms today. I go to the office. The security guard approaches me as I'm heading there, and he says that I have really nice legs.
Yeah, see, it's happening to younger women too. It's happening to women. You're talking about sexual harassment, abuse, attacks, verbal abuse, assault, and putting someone's photo of their home, their automobile on social media, and it seems like the black women, the age group is a big range from the younger to the senior ladies and in between, are just being this abuse, and this is by leadership. It's the leadership that's aiding and abetting sexual harassment, abuse, attack, assault of all kind. And the black men, Doc, are just sitting there and they're just letting, not this black man, because trust and believe, I'm doing something about it. But the black men are sitting, and Doc is as well, and they're just not stepping up to the plate, and it looks bad. It looks really bad, and it's really bad.
Let's add something more to it, because Matthew Henson Neighborhood Association has called out for the men that live and work around the Dukeland area, where Leal High School, where I forget the real name of the school now that is no longer Leal, but they had two incidents where young women have been approached by black men. And I'm saying, you black men that live in that area, the Dukeland Gwynns Falls area, you need to protect those schools that are right there in the area. All I'm asking you to do is go drive around a little bit, let your face be seen, so folks know they can't just deal with our women, they can't deal with our children either.
Exactly. That needs to be done, because this is just getting out of hand what's going on. And I think, now this is me, this is my opinion, I believe that the voters who are going to the polls, who need to go to the polls, those citizens, you need to vote. I believe that what needs to be done is a clean sweep of the city council.
Say that again, clean sweep.
A clean sweep. The mayor of Brandon, who is a national embarrassment, needs to go. The crime rate is up 13%, so he's been lying. The crime rate overall is up 13%. And I believe that on the BG&E backstabbing deal, I'm paying more for my BG&E because of this Jaguar. Anyway, there needs to be a clean sweep, and to send a message that we're not the citizens. They need to wake up. And I know it's a cliche, wake up, but they need to wake up, vote these people out. They need to get James Torrance's hind parts out of there. Need to get him out. Brandon needs to go, and the city council needs to go. You need to revamp. It is a disgrace. It's disgusting. I was born and raised in Baltimore City, and it's offensive to see these people. They offend me. They offend, just looking at them is offensive. But Linda, what do you think of all this? Because we're going to get ready to wrap up in a few minutes. Linda Batch, what do you think?
Well, I think that what we have is a hostile environment inside of city government that has permeated and become hostile citywide. Mm-hmm. Whether you're on the payrolls or whether you're a resident or taxpayer, it is becoming a climate that is on the groundswell of a need for change. And how that change comes about is going to be up to the men and women who get tired of what they've been subjected to and are just ready to assert themselves to see differences in the near future. We can't continue to operate under the model of governance that we have today, because it is very relationship driven. It's not driven by any ethos of what is right and wrong, and that model has to stop. The culture that has been created inside of Baltimore City, I know because I was there for 2 years, is one that has perpetuated not only this kind of inequity and inequality on the inside, but it has permeated on the outside through its delivery of services, which tend to either be relationship-based, wealth-based, or based on just something that happens out of tragedy. And so, if you look at our city now and you pick out the pinpoints, the lynch points of where we're improving and how much better we are today than we were 4 years, 8 years ago, then you have the answer to the question, what do we need to do? I don't need to tell you.
Well, we need to vote James Torrance out. He needs to go. Hey, 7th District. Hey, let me give you a clue, y'all. In the 7th District, you need to get rid of James Torrance and Tori Rose, a quality woman who's running. You need to look at her. She's running. She is a much better improvement over James Torrance and will work for you all, help to clean up the dirtiest district. I guess James had a lot to do with that, Pigpen. So you gotta look at doing this, getting out and voting, and get these bottom feeders out of office. Who's going to have the last word?
May I say one other thing?
Sure.
When I was city government, we've got an equity ordinance that, can I go? We've got an equity ordinance that purports to change the outcomes for communities that are disadvantaged. And while with the Department of Public Works, as the first ever Environmental Justice and Equity Director, I put forth a proposal that all of our managers and supervisors who are held accountable for equity have to join their local community neighborhood association and advance issues and foster results that reflect a commitment to equity. Mm-hmm. How much better would we be if the people who were on the inside of government were also held accountable for being a part of the communities where they live and fostering change? It would certainly relieve a lot of burdens off of me. I'm working 45, 50 hours a week with no compensation. But folks who are on the inside of city government, supposedly responsible for the exchange of these services, and they're not. And in advancing that idea of holding managers and supervisors accountable for an equity performance element, I received such pushback, you would have thought that I was calling people racial epithets.
Well, that's how they are. They don't want to do their job.
Starting with the director of the Equity Commission.
Yes.
Why the heck do we have an Equity Commission director who doesn't do anything for equity?
Good question. Maybe I should give her a call and find out.
She's not doing any good. She's doing what Brandon tells her to do.
Oh, that's what she is. She sits at Brandon's footstoop and does what he orders her to do. Is that what it is? Is like that? Well, she's not the only one. She's not the only one, because the fire department, it looks like they said, hey, a couple of weeks ago, Brandon is not giving us any ARPA funds, and we're not getting any ARPA funds. And now all of a sudden they're supporting Brandon, and now they're getting ARPA funds. Looks like Brandon's trying to buy his way back into office. He's trying to buy his way to keep himself in the office. It looks like he's dipping in somewhere, or dipping and diving, because his numbers suck. Hey, Brandon, your numbers suck. And this poll that's being done, this internal poll by Sheila Dixon, where only 4 people they get to choose from. Oh yeah, I know about the poll, Sheila. There's only 4 people. That poll is no good. So it's going to be, I think this election is going to be more interesting than people take it to be. And there's going to be a few more people involved in the mix other than these 4, okay? And that's how I feel about that. And everyone, okay, that's a wrap. I'm glad to be back in a way, I guess. Glad to be back home from the Dominican Republic. My wife and I had a great time. We had a ball. People saw the pictures on Facebook. Got a lot of likes. And I want to thank my guests, Linda Batts, Kelli Bigelow. Thanks for being on The Outsiders and telling it like it is.
We thank you for the opportunity.
I want to say this, Sean, thank you not only for this platform, your disposition, but thank you for physically willing to protect me when, that running after somebody, it's putting yourself on the line. And I thank you for it. I don't want you to put yourself in harm's way now, because, you got a family. I appreciate you. But when you have on the other other side, black men who are gatekeepers, who are more concerned about money than women of their own culture being protected, then this is what you have. So I want to say thank you to you and Desmond Spinney and Tyrone and Mr. Moore, and even Doc Cheatham. I know Doc Cheatham was there. He was stuck his foot out and clipped him. It's just thank you for the physicality that you offered in, running up the street to make sure that he didn't get away. Thank you for that. And that meant a lot to me.
Well, Kelly, you're very welcome and glad to have done it. And, well, that's what real men have to do. Sometimes you got to get a little physical, and I can be a physical guy. But thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for the outsiders and for supporting us. And I want you all to go out there, do your best, strive to be number one. Okay, God bless everyone. Take care.
God bless y'all.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.